This afternoon, we are joined by Micah Elan, who was on our first original 2014-2015 team at Prolific Prep. Micah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Phil. It's been a minute. So good to hear from you and all the other Prolific Prep guys. So
Yeah. You look good. Your look could be quarantine look. It could be a lot of different things, but I like the style. You got style. I don't have style. You have style.
oh no, come on, coach.
So, for those of you that don't know, Micah Elan is originally from San Francisco. And when you want to talk about a college career, Micah Elan just finished playing 4 years at PomonaPitzer. Now, he started all 82 games of his college career. 82 games played, 82 games started. When it was all said and done, you finished as a second-team All-American, Player of the Year in the conference, all-time leading scorer in your school's history, all-time leading assist player in your school history, the most points scored in a single season. You have built up quite a resume at PomonaPitzer. So you just finished your 4 years. Give me a quick, brief rundown on your past 4 years at PomonaPitzer, and congrats to all your success.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I don't know, I mean, the time really just flew by. I remember when you first put me in contact with Coach Waterman, who's now the head coach at Art in San Francisco Academy of Art. And I remember going on my recruiting visit, and it just felt like a place that I wanted to be. It felt like a place where I could kind of play from the beginning. And I know everyone kind of has a different path, but my goal, like my head ever since I was a kid, has always been towards playing professional basketball. So I saw that as an opportunity to develop my skills, like from day one, get in, have like good experience playing against competition since the first time I stepped into the campus. And so I thought that worked out really well for me. I mean, we came in when I was a freshman. The year before me, we didn't make the playoffs in the past couple of years. And so we worked really hard, kind of dedicated ourselves to becoming a better team. And by my junior year, we were top 10 in the country, the round of 32. And then by my senior year, we were top 10 in the country, I think, and made it to the Sweet 16 before, like, obviously the season got canceled, but we were still going. So, I mean, I don't know. I felt really happy about the way that we kind of grew as a team, and I grew as a player throughout my 4 years. I felt like every year I improved a little bit, gained more experience playing, and it showed at the end of my senior year. So
yeah, when people say people are smart, I mean, for you, you're smart in multiple categories. You're an elite student. I mean, that's your top 1% in the United States, just based on hard work, intelligence. But I believe as a young player, sometimes people, make decisions, and even if they're smart, they may not make the best decision. You chose a pathway to play big time minutes right away, regardless of college level. Now, mind you, you're going there also to get a college degree, which very few can get a college degree from PomonaPitzer. But right off the bat, you felt like playing time for you was probably a key deciding factor, because you're 6'4" guard, you got great size, you're athletic, you're skilled. There's probably a whole bunch of levels to play. You could play Division 1, 2, 3, the timing, but the decision to choose academics and playing time over everything else, it seems like it just, for you, is a home run.
yeah, I mean, it was definitely a tough decision because I think when you're a senior, especially when it's your first semester senior year, and you're talking to all these D1 schools, and they're like, not yet, wait till second semester, we'll see you in some like showcase camps. And that sounds so tempting. But when I had the offer on the table to come to this school that I was going to get a great education and have an opportunity to play immediately, it just felt like that was the right path for me. And who knows what would have happened if I would have waited it out and tried to, keep in contact with those D1 coaches and played in AAU my spring semester senior year. Who knows? But I'm glad how it all worked out, just because I know for a lot of people, if you don't find the right fit, you can people end up quitting who are really talented. People end up, people are transferring or doing all these types of things, which is there's tons of different ways to be successful, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that I was able to take the path I took, because it ended up working out pretty well and putting me, I think, in a good position to play professional basketball next year.
And Amadou made kind of the same decision. So Amadou So, your
Yeah.
teammate in the 2014, 2015 Prolific Prep team, he had choices to make, and his choices, he had a Virginia offer, a North Carolina State offer, he had a Cal offer, he had a UCLA offer, he had a Colorado offer, he had a UC Santa Barbara offer, and he said, and he was clear of mind, but it wasn't easy. His goal eventually was to play some professional basketball.
Right.
And he thought, as a developing international player, because he just kind of started playing at 12 and 13. And when he was with you guys, our
Yeah,
first
I
team
remember.
was 14, 15, could barely catch it. He thought that playing time right off the bat for him, which he eventually chose UC Santa Barbara and
Right.
has started 62 of 63 games his first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He thought for him, it was the most important because he would gain confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
for you, I mean, looking at your career, um, consistency, 44% 3-point shooter, um, continued averages in points from 12 to 15 to 15 to 20. But, probably with you, right off the bat, having confidence probably allowed you to really, really feel comfortable because you had played at a whole bunch of good levels anyways prior to. So that confidence thing that some athletes, Matt O'Reilly talked about it deep in our conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel confident going into your freshman year? You should have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, honestly, playing for Prolific Prep really boosted my confidence in a new level, because I was playing for a local high school that, it was fine. The competition was fine. And the AAU I was playing was local. It was Bay Area AAU. Like, I was on like some like non-elite teams,
That's okay.
non-sponsorship teams.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like I was doing really well at that level. And so I went to Prolific Prep and I started playing for an Under Armour sponsored team. And that summer I was exposed to so much more talent. And what I realized was that I can play at that level. And like, anyone can play at that level. You just have to work hard enough and commit yourself to it. And so going into my freshman year of college, after playing again like a national schedule with Prolific Prep and with my team superstar, my AAU team, I mean, it felt like, okay, I'm ready to play college. Like, I'm ready for this experience. I feel like my body's ready. Mentally, I'm ready. And then being put in a position where, okay, let's see if you can play. That really helped me because the coaches believed in me. They trusted me, and I did it. And so, I don't know. I mean, it works differently for every person. Like, I'm sure Matt O'Reilly talked about it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be tough for people to go on a team where you're not playing like your first year or something like that. But sometimes it also works out for people. So I feel like you just got to figure out kind of what works for you in that decision. And I think that, like, getting the confidence my freshman year really helped my career moving forward. It just made me confident in everything I did, and it made me perform better.
And
Which part of
you're
the
going
game.
to be you're going to be a professional basketball player, but you've gotten your college degree. You know that down the road you can get whatever job you want, but basketball is I always remember you loved hooping. That first Prolific Prep team, 2014, 2015, I thought everyone in their own kind of way was really serious about basketball, even though they might have spoken different languages or their personalities were different. I really thought, Kyle loved hoops. You loved hoops. Matt O'Reilly loved hoops. Josh Jackson, Sasha French, but everyone, is coming from, I just, earlier this afternoon, I interviewed Mamadou Diarra,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, he remembered that a lot of times at practices, they're like, hey, before he got injured, he was like, okay, you go guard Josh. Today's going to be your time to guard Josh. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to have to compete or whatever. But you guys were really serious. Like, even though you guys had good time, you guys were really serious about your craft.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the practices that we had were some of the best practices I've had in my life. Like, the way we competed against each other every day. I think that's something that I loved about the way that you ran your practices, was there was so much scrimmaging. And like, the intensity during those scrimmages was something that up until that point I had never had before, and was never really matched until like I started playing higher levels in college.
Yeah.
And that's something that's so fun because you can almost get a game-like atmosphere in practice if
Yeah.
everyone cares as much as they do. And so that team was so fun to play with because it felt like everyone really cared. Obviously they did if they're going to, start a new prep school with so many mysteries. Like you got to care
Yeah.
about basketball.
Yeah. And we had to take a big leap of faith. But my only goal, I mean, I had a lot of goals, but my first organic goal was the way Jeremy and I thought about basketball. I wanted it to be skill development based, but with competition. Like
Mhm.
if we shot 100 threes, I wanted to shoot like 500 threes. I want to do shooting competitions and 2 in a rows and 3 in a
Yeah.
rows and 5 in a rows. And then short scrimmages to 11, 13, 15 points. I, I really like competition probably because I never probably experienced competition within, when I played high school or AU or college. It was different. And I think that was something I tried to do, which most of your teammates said that some of the funnest times they had were traveling and then having the spirited competition workouts practices, which a lot of the guys really liked.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you remember the first couple days walking into a gym with guys that most of them you've never met before? Some got off an airplane from Europe, some from Africa, some from Detroit, some from Saginaw. And your first day or two, you're like, okay, do I belong here? What's going on? These guys are from all over the place. What were some of your memories off the first 2 or 3 days? And then after those first 2 or 3 days, then how did you feel?
Yeah, I remember. Obviously, there's like so many questions going into it. I'm going to a school that's never existed before, essentially like a
Yeah.
basketball team that's never existed. And I remember showing up because there's 3 players who went to Justin Siena. One was Sasha, who had already went to Justin Siena, and then me and Josh.
Yeah.
And when I showed up, like Sasha already was there. He had his situation figured out, but Josh was still playing for the USA team. For
Oh,
like he missed the first I think 2 weeks of school, and I was like at school alone pretty much, and I was like, man, like I can't wait for this other guy to come. But like luckily we had the practices and I got to meet all of the other players, which was super fun. I remember at the beginning, like all we were doing was skill development and scrimmaging, and I'm like, come on, that's right, like that's right up my alley. Like I love scrimmaging and I like doing the drills that you had, so like it was perfect. I think I'd actually been training with Jeremy the entire summer
oh,
previous, so like I got to know Jeremy, and like the basketball felt seamless. Like I don't know, it was perfect. Like I came in and the training was great, the scrimmages were great, the people were great. But yeah, I remember the school part was like, at first I was like, okay, is there going to be someone else really coming? It's been a while. Is he really playing on the USA team? But then he came, and like, that was great because we were both kind of like new people in the situation doing similar things. So we got to kind of bond through that. And then seeing all these other guys every day and traveling with them, I feel like we just became so close. So like, I don't know. I remember my first kind of memories of it was, wow, is someone else really coming to Justin Siena, or is it really
mhm.
just me all alone? And then like a week or two later, Josh came, and like everything kind of started to go more smoothly. I think like a week or two in. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it was your first year ever, so there was like a lot of road bumps, but I think that like after I kind of settled in more in the school and everything, I started to feel more
And I
comfortable.
think when Josh landed, there was an earthquake or there's something. I couldn't remember what it
There was a
was.
crazy earthquake in Napa
That's what
that
it was.
like was destroying houses, and a lot of people were affected. It was like, what a way to start. I mean,
Yeah. It was like, I think God or somebody was like, okay, we're the start of something. And then Josh lands. And then I think the day he landed, and we went to like Grace Gym or whatever. And we put on like some emergency things and helped out the community or
yeah,
something.
we were doing community service things. I remember there's all types of stuff at the beginning of that
Yeah.
season.
And you and Josh, developed obviously going to school together at Justin Siena. Even Sasha was probably like the third leg in a two-legged party. But um, Josh, Detroit, Michigan, wonderful mom, Apples. Micah Elan from San Francisco, two great parents. Here's two people from two different parts of the country, and you guys kind of bonded, and it was organic. I remember your mom was just basically Josh's temporary mom while he was out here, living in the dorms at Justin Santa the first year. And
Mhm.
I just, the organic love that you guys kind of bonded together. That was something I really remember from the first year.
Yeah, no, that was great. I mean, we came in hold on one second.
You're good.
Sorry. I remember we came in freshman year, and like we were the only two. I mean, Sasha, like I said, like he had his group,
Yeah.
right? Like he was like friends with us and everything, but he had his group. It was me and Josh. We were like coming in as juniors with the same grade.
Yeah.
You don't know anyone at all in Napa or at this school, and so like I feel like we really bonded through that. I mean, we were classmates at school. We ate lunch together. We would go and practice together. When we did the shooting drills, we were shooting partners. Like on the weekends, we'd hang out together. He'd come out to San Francisco, or we'd travel sometimes. I mean, it just like, it felt like it was very natural just because we're the only two in our specific situation at Justin Siena.
Yeah.
So, and like, obviously we had fun playing together too, like on the court. So it just kind of, I don't know, it definitely made the situation more comfortable, I think, for me, and probably for him too, because it was nice to have someone else at the school who didn't know anyone and who was going through like the same situation, kind of like moving to a different place and all that. So I thought that was definitely an important friendship in making the whole experience a lot better.
I remember you and Josh would always compete against Matt and Kyle in these shooting games because we loved shooting competitions, and it got heated. Josh became a better shooter.
Oh yeah.
And it was, man, that was some of the things I really remember, the heated competition in terms of the shooting drills.
Yeah, I will never forget. We were on the side basket, and it was me and Josh on the side basket and Kyle and Matt on the main hoop every single time. They were the seniors, so they were like, we get the main hoop. And I felt like every single time it came down to one of us two going at it. Like he was my partner, so I don't remember if I was competing against Kyle or Matt. I think it switched sometimes.
Yeah,
but
probably.
It always felt like it was coming down to the wire. I think at one point Jeremy was like, whoever wins this gets to start the next game. And like those were intense. Like those were make you better shooters because you're going 100%. You're trying to beat the person next to you. So I don't know. That was super fun. I do definitely remember that.
Then we start taking airplanes to a couple different tournaments. We're in West Virginia, we're in Ohio, we're in Kentucky, and playing against the Thon Makers, Jamal Murray's, whoever we played against, so a whole bunch of dudes from all over the world. Tell me what you remember from the different experiences and these showcase games that we played around the country in these big tournaments.
Yeah, I thought it was so much fun. Like to this day, since I went to a D3 school, I've never really experienced anything like it. Hopefully like next year, once I start playing professional basketball, I will, especially like depending on what country I'm in, but I might be experiencing some crazy fans and things like that. But like at the high school I was at, it was a small high school in San Francisco. We didn't get that many people at our games. The college I went to, we really don't get that many people at our games. It's a D3 school. So like sometimes you'll get your fans out and stuff like that. But I remember walking into the arenas and like they were double-decker arenas with full of people. And those were some games, not all of the games, obviously. But that atmosphere to play in was so much fun. Like you were walking in, another team was walking out. Maybe like you had some friends on the other teams, or like I know like Josh was friends with like everyone. So he had a friend on the other team that he would like hang out with in the hotel, but it just seemed like he knew everyone. So somehow everyone knew everyone and everyone kind of supported each other in the basketball community. But at the same time, when you play against each other, it was so competitive and aggressive. And like there was numerous altercations in our games happening all the time. And it was like that atmosphere with like those packed gyms and like the people just going 100% at each other was so much fun. I think that's something that I've kind of missed since going to Prolific Prep. Obviously not all of the games were like that. There's some games in weird back gyms with not as many people, but a lot of the games were in these big stadiums that were so much fun to play in. And yeah, I'll never forget that. And I'm like really hoping to get that back next year for sure.
Yeah. And so the unique thing is, first of all, everyone's playing together for the first time and we're playing a team sport. So it's kind of like we have to hurry up and get to know each other. We got to figure out our system, our style, or whatever. Everyone has different strengths. But it always felt good to have one super alpha dog with us. Like, okay, everyone, because some games like I would you and Kyle and Matt, like, come on, you guys, I want you to shoot more or whatever. One game, either you would be hot or then Matt would be like, I can't make a shot. I'm like, well, all right, well then Kyle and Micah are going to have to make shots this game because, whatever.
Mhm.
But I think you guys as teammates in a organic way kind of gave each other confidence. And that was kind of spearheaded by Josh. If people got to know Josh, he was super competitive, but he made you feel like not invincible, but he made you feel so much more confident. Even me as a coach, I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm like, okay. He's like, coach, he's like, right now we need, da, 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 da. And I was like, okay, yeah. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. So like some of you guys, I don't know if you fed off his confidence but some of you guys, even though we played for the first time, you guys played well.
Yeah. I think that like his leadership that year was a different style of leadership that I hadn't seen before. And I think I actually learned from it and was able to use that like in college. Cause he would go up to you and he'd say, I need this from you right now. Like this is what I need from you. And you can do it. Like just do it. And everyone was like, okay, like I guess I'll do it. Like I remember a super specific play. It was like early on in the season. And I think Kyle fouled out and like, it was in Las Vegas. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we had drawn up some play. It was like a tie game, end of the game. And like the ball was supposed to come to me in the middle. Maybe if it was some kind of second option, but he was like, if you get it, I'm going to be coming down the lane. Like all you have to do is just like throw it to me and I will dunk it. And I was like, okay, I got you. And so he threw it to me. I did exactly what he said. He dunked it, like game over. And it was like, okay, that was great. But he just like, he would tell you need like, as a leader, he would like make you feel like you could do it and then tell you like exactly what he needs from you. He didn't worry about being too harsh on your feelings or anything like that. Like he'd say it straight up. And I think that's important. Like as a leader, like when I was playing in college, I think that's something that I kind of learned. You got to be harsh on people sometimes,
Yeah.
especially if you're supposed to be the leader.
Yeah, and I don't think some of our international players even knew English. Like Marco smiled the whole time. I don't even know. I mean, we're coaching him, but you guys, like I forget who I was telling. It might have been Ryan Stewart. Like you and Kyle and like Matt ended up being like my second coaches on the floor to kind of help some of the international guys. I mean, like Amadou is barely speaking English, and
Yeah.
you have Marco. Marco's like, coach, I spoke better English than Amadou and Mamadou. And I'm like, yeah, most likely you're coming from a European country, but like, yeah, you still spoke no English.
Yeah.
But you guys, the language barriers, like the three of you kind of the guards kind of really helped me out because I was dealing with a lot of different things. And the language barrier was one barrier that we had to deal with. And you guys somehow communicated with Marco or Amadou or whomever.
Yeah, no, I think I remember the first days we came in, we were living on Google Translate on our phone, like just to talk to each other outside of practice. We'd just be on Google Translate, like showing each other words, like we were teaching them different words, like things to say, how to say certain things. But on the court, I remember like in practices, you'd be speaking French to Amadou and Mamadou running around. Like it was definitely crazy, but there's something about basketball where everyone can kind of understand each other if you've played it a lot. So you had a bunch of people who like could play basketball clearly, but just had to fit into this group. And so I just felt like we all did our best job. Like the people who felt more comfortable in our position as like English speaking and kind of like for me and Matt, we're both from the Bay Area. Like we didn't really have to go that far. So we clearly were pretty comfortable with everything going around. So I felt like it was a lot of like not pressure, but a lot of responsibility on us to kind of help people feel comfortable too on the court and off the court, like inviting people to come over on the weekends or things like that. Like, because we just have family that's closer and we have friends and connections that are closer. So I feel like that was super important for the people who were, from the area. And like everyone did, like Sasha, who's from Napa, he'd have people over at his house. And like everyone was doing little things on and off the court to make people that were coming from all over the world feel comfortable in the situation.
Yeah, I remember your family, Sasha French's family, and the Stewart family, all all of you guys had awesome parents, but your parents went out of the way to try to make everyone feel comfortable in this unique dynamic. And eventually you had guys going to San Francisco like every other week because they fell in love. I mean, obviously you're from San Francisco, your parents lived there, obviously. And so you guys basically showed the United States, or showed the San Francisco Bay Area, to some people would never be able to dream. I remember Mamadou told me this morning, he said, Coach, when we drove from San Francisco airport, went through San Francisco, I had like a little sunroof in my Volvo or something, I can't remember. And he said all he can do is just stare at the tallest buildings he had ever seen, and he was in shock, right?
Yeah.
And then, but then you're inviting your teammates to San Francisco to hang out and do all. I mean, you and Josh went to all. I mean, just like Sasha was the mayor of Napa, you had all the party connections in San Francisco with all the Lick Wilberding guys, and the maybe Sacred Heart Cathedral or Rear, whatever. So you're like an extended host family to all your teammates.
Yeah, I thought it was cool because some of my friends, like from San Francisco, were becoming friends with the kids on Prolific Prep, and they would start to know each other, and we'd like all hang out together on the weekends when we had off weekends, which was just so much fun because everyone on the team was super cool and super friendly and nice, but they didn't know people in the Bay Area as well. And so the fact that, like, I remember the Stewart family was having barbecues for us and things like that, like just everyone that was from the area was so welcoming. And I felt like it was so much fun to kind of mix your different friends from different areas. And like you said, like bring people who had never seen cities like San Francisco into San Francisco. It was a lot of fun.
And so now looking back, so you just when's the official graduation date for you? I know it's all funky, but when were you supposed to graduate?
Last Saturday. So I think I'm done.
Oh,
we didn't have a graduation, but like I turned in my thesis, so it feels like I'm done. I don't know.
You kind of, for those that are seniors in high school this year, or seniors in college, it's kind of unfortunate. I mean, no one can do anything about it, but there's certain times in your life where you may remember, like, and one of those days would be college graduation day, where you went to an elite academic school at PomonaPitzer. You develop friendships with your teammates and your students and your teachers. And so it's unfortunate that maybe in like 2 or 3 years, they bring all of you guys back.
Yeah, they're talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, you deserve that. But so you just finished your 4-year college career. You had a great high school career at Lick Wilberding. You played on our first Prolific Prep team. You've done a whole bunch of things, and you're still young, and you're just getting ready to play professional basketball. Any words of advice or wisdom to, high school kids that are just, sophomores or juniors? There's so many different things you could probably touch on, but 2 or 3 things that could potentially help high school kids that are now probably dealing with more choices than they've ever been able. There's just more opportunities in basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like now to try to be recruited, but just as general advice, I think you have to push yourself to play against the best competition you can, especially when you're in high school, because like there's so many teams out there and so many people you can play for. And like, I don't know. I mean, I live in the Bay Area, so there's so many good players to play against. I know that's not the same case for everybody, but to find a way, like people are coming from all over the world to come to Prolific Prep and teams like that so they can play good competition. I think that is super important, is that you're playing against good players, because anyone can like show out against not good players, but I don't think that makes you as good of a player as you can be. And then also just to find your fit, like find a place that really feels comfortable and like it fits for you. You don't have to chase like just like you were saying what Amadou did. He's having a great time at Santa Barbara, playing really well. It sounds like he found a school that really fit for him. Like you don't have to chase something that isn't the best fit. Instead, find a coach. Like the coach is important. The offense is important. The defensive strategies are important. Who, when you're getting recruited, do they have another point guard who's a year above you that is really good, so you're not going to play? Like these are all really important things to think about. I came into a school that didn't really have a point guard,
and they didn't need one for 4 years. I mean, so everybody they're recruiting, so that for 4 years, like, oh, we're not going to recruit a point guard. We got Micah. So unfortunately, there's so many other point guards in the United States that didn't get to go to PomonaPitzer because you're starting every game. But yeah, I get it.
Exactly. You don't want to go to a school that if you're a point guard, you don't want to go to a school that has a bunch of point guards there. You don't want to go to a school that's like always bringing in new people. You don't know where your position stands with them. I don't know. Like you just have to find what you feel like you can play the best in. Like if you need confidence from day one, you should know that and pick a school where you're going to play. If you want to take some time to develop your body, that's what you need. Like do that. you just kind of have to find your fit, what college is going to bring the best out of you. And I think that's different for everyone. So that would be my main advice, is just challenge yourself, always play against the best people you can, and find somewhere that really fits for you and
Yeah.
you can actually develop. If your goal is to play professional basketball, then you should play in college. Like, you don't go to the highest, best school you can if you're not going to play, because no one wants to recruit someone who sat on the bench for 4 years. Like, it's just, I mean, that doesn't look as good from professional basketball. So I don't know. That would be my advice.
Have you seen a few tidbits of the overtime show? Obviously, this past year is our 6th year, and we had some good players, just like we do every year. But
Yeah.
overtime filmed or whatever. Have you caught a few?
Yeah, I remember you sent it to me. I watched all 3 of them, I think. So I'm all up to date, I think.
bring back any memories, or the kind of like the goofiness amongst the characters. And I mean,
Yeah.
Matt O'Reilly says, "Coach, look, no matter what, our team was the all-time characters, but no one got to witness it because we didn't film it." And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, year one. Yeah. But
We had Omar filming. I don't know what we've got with the film, but I do remember Omar was filming. So I don't know
Omar
where that's at.
Lewis.
But no, I mean, yeah, like watching that little YouTube series, what reminded me the most was the traveling and the games. Like, I saw some of the same gyms that I feel like I played in when I was in high school, like in Kentucky and stuff like that. But the traveling and the goofiness, like, we're between like 14 and 17-year-old kids traveling around the country together, staying in hotel rooms together. Like, that's the most fun thing you can do. I mean, like, nowadays when you travel around, it feels a little more like business, but back then it felt like the best time ever. I mean, we were on planes all the time. We were goofing around on the planes, goofing around in the hotel, like after games, goofing around anytime you could imagine. I mean, we had so many different personalities on the team. So it was so much fun to, like, that was one of the best experiences, was just traveling around with the guys and just hanging out. I mean, we were young kids just hanging out in high school, and like, that was our way of doing it, was through travel. So,
well, we thank you for that original year, for taking a leap of faith, and all your teammates, and really opening the door to kids you probably have no idea, that came after you from all different countries. You guys were quality people. You guys had great parents. You guys were awesome to be around, intelligent, motivated, funny, um, really good human beings. And time kind of goes by really quickly. And it's kind of, I'm so happy at all your guys' success and your success. I'm speaking to you. You've had a lot of success, and that's attributed to your focused hard work, your intensity, your ability to, figure out what's important for you. And now, you're going to play professional basketball and still have great college degrees. So our program is proud of you. I know I'm proud of you, because you and I kind of were from the same city in San Francisco, and we knew kind of the same people or same circle. And, I know your mom and dad really, really, really supported you and loved you. And so I'm really proud of you. I'm, I wish we can go back in a capsule in 2014, 15 and just relive some of the funniest moments ever. But at least those memories are with us now. And so our program wants to thank you, Micah, and all your teammates. We're going to wish you success here. You just graduated from college, and
thank you.
good luck in your endeavors as you begin professional basketball.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate, just as much as you're thanking me, I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity, taking a leap of faith, bringing me into a team that was really good and such a great experience. So that was like a year of a memory that I'll never forget and really cherish forever. Like, the basketball, the people, everything. So, I mean, I can't thank you guys enough for having that great memory in my life.
Say hello to both your parents. Stay healthy. I know we text every couple of weeks to figure out like what country you'll end up. So I'm glad you got that, trying to get even 3 citizenships. So keep working all that. Let me know where you end up. And if we can help in any way, my cell phone number has never changed. My email address hasn't changed. Okay.
Awesome. Sounds good.